Hello, everyone, and welcome to Key to Theosophy number 26. Can't believe how far we've come. Look at that. 26. Now, I label them as individual numbers, but we're actually in section 6. And if these teachings mean something to you, if you are here and you want to learn more about these teachings of compassion, these ancient teachings, they antedate all the world's religions. They are where the fundamental principles of all of the world's, the New Age movement, the New Thought movement, the philosophers, you go all the way back to time beginning, and they're older than that. There was a large portion that came through at the end of the 19th century, and it is not about my reading these teachings to you, and not about my interpretation. I'm simply a student of Theosophy, and I wish to share my experience with you so you can become living Theosophy. You can become these teachings of compassion and kindness and unconditional love. And if these teachings resonate with you, and if they mean something to you, then you can help, if you wish, by, I believe it's over here, you can subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell. If you wish to support the channel directly, it's much appreciated. This is all a labor of love. And you can buy one of the audiobooks if you wish by going to the Living Theosophy website. You can download them directly there. The teachings, the actual books will always be free. You can support the channel by purchasing an audiobook. They're very affordable. And it costs money for me to publish them and then to voice them. But they're also available for free on this channel if you'd like to have them, because I believe they should always be free. So I am trying to figure out how that works, how that all works. But the big thing is I'm grateful that you're here. And if this matters to you, then let's get ready, because we're going to move on into, I believe we are on page 90. We're going to go from page 93 to 96. And we are still using the teleprompter. And so hopefully that works for you. I'm an old radio and television personality, so this kind of is in my vein, but I'm still learning. And the new world of broadcasting has changed quite a bit since it was just a stick and I wore headphones and played records back in the olden days, So if you're ready, so am I. Oh, really quick also, if you'd like to support the channel, if you enjoy what you're seeing here, you can support the channel. Any amount is appreciated by visiting livingtheosophy.com and clicking the support link. So let's go. Now, last time in Key 25, in the Septenary nature of man, we left out a footnote, so I'll say it here, that Paul calls Plato's Nous spirit. But as this spirit is substance, then of course, buddhi and not Atma is meant, as the latter cannot philosophically be called substance under any circumstance. We include Atma among the human principles in order not to create additional confusion. In reality, it is no human, but the universal absolute principle of which buddhi, the soul spirit, is the carrier. So let's move forward into the distinction between soul and spirit. This is page 93 through 96, Inquirer. Do you really teach, as you are accused of doing by some spiritualists and French spiritists, the annihilation of every personality? Theosophist, we do not. But as this question of the duality, the individuality of the divine ego and the personality of the human animal involves that of the possibility of the real immortal ego appearing in seance rooms as a materialized spirit, which we deny, as we've already explained, our opponents have started the nonsensical charge. Inquirer, you have just spoken of Psuche running towards its entire annihilation if it attaches itself to Anoia. What did Plato, and what do you mean by this? Theosophist, the entire annihilation of the personal consciousness as an exceptional and rare case, I think. The general and almost invariable unchanging rule is the merging of the personal into the individual or immortal consciousness of the ego, a transformation or a divine transfiguration, and the entire annihilation only of the lower quaternary. Would you expect the man of flesh or the temporary personality, his shadow, the astral, his animal instincts, and even physical life to survive with the spiritual ego and become sempiternal, which means eternal? Naturally, all this ceases to exist, either at or soon after corporeal death. It becomes in time entirely disintegrated and disappears from view, being annihilated as a whole. Inquirer, then you also reject the resurrection in the flesh? Theosophist, most decidedly we do. Why should we, who believe in the archaic esoteric philosophy of the ancients, accept the unphilosophic or speculations of the latter Christian theology, borrowed from the Egyptian and Greek exoteric systems of the Gnostics? Inquirer. The Egyptians revered nature spirits and deified even onions. Your Hindus are idolaters to this day, and the Zoroastrians worshipped and still do worship the sun. And the best Greek philosophers were either dreamers or materialists. Witness Plato and Democritus. Democritus is thought of as the laughing philosopher. He thought cheerfulness was very important, and so do I. It is important to maintain cheerfulness. I think so. He's also one of the founders of the atomist theory. And atomism is the theory that all of reality and all objects in the universe are composed of very small, indivisible, and indestructible building blocks known as atoms, from the Greek atomus, which means uncuttable. So the question is asked, how can you compare? Theosophist. It may be so in your modern Christian and even scientific catechism, but it is not so for unbiased minds. The Egyptians revered the one, only one, as knew it. The I, the universe, the cosmos, the goddess of the sky. And it is from this word that Anaxagoras, the philosopher of nature, got his denomination, Nous, or as he calls it, autocrates. Nous autocrates, the mind or spirit self-potent. The archetes hineadoes, the leading motor, or primum mobile, which means the most important source of motion or action of all. With him the Nous was God, and the Logos was man, his emanation. The Nous is the spirit, whether in cosmos or in man, and the Logos, whether universe or astral body. The emanation of the former, the physical body, being merely the animal. Our external powers perceive phenomena. Our nous alone is able to recognize their noumena. This is quantum physics. It is the logos alone, or the noumenon, which is something that is thought, or the object of an act of a thought, that survives because it is immortal in its very nature and essence. And the logos in man is the eternal ego, that which reincarnates and lasts forever. But how can the evanescent or external shadow, the temporary clothing of that divine emanation, which returns to the source whence it proceeded, be that which is raised in incorruptibility? Inquirer. Still, you can hardly escape the charge of having invented a new division of man's spiritual and psychic constituents, for no philosopher speaks of them, though you believe that Plato does. Theosophist, and I support that view. Besides Plato, there is Pythagoras, who also followed the same idea. Now there's a footnote here. Plato and Pythagoras, says Plutarch, distribute the soul into two parts, the rational, the noetic, and the irrational, agnoia. Okay, that may sound familiar. That part of the soul of man which is rational is eternal. For though it be not God, yet it is the product of an eternal deity. But that part of the soul which is divested of reason, agnoia, dies. The modern term agnostic comes from agnosis, or agnosis, a cognate, meaning related word. He, Plato, described the soul as a self-moving unit, a monad, composed of three elements, the nous, spirit, the Phren, mind, and the Thumos, life breath, or the nefesh of the Kabbalists, which three correspond to our Atma buddhi, higher spirit soul, to Manas, the ego, and to Kama-rupa, in conjunction with the lower reflection of Manas. That which the ancient Greek philosophers termed soul in general, we call spirit, or spiritual soul, buddhi, as the vehicle of Atma, the Agathon, or Plato's supreme deity. The fact that Pythagoras and others state that Phren and Thumos are shared by us with the brutes proves that in this case, the lower Manasic reflection, instinct, and Kama-rupa, animal living passions are meant, and as Socrates and Plato accepted the clue and followed it, if to these five, namely Agathon, deity or Atma, Psuche, soul in its collective sense, Nous, spirit or mind, Phren, physical mind, and Thumos, Kama-rupa, or passions, we add the eidolon of the mysteries, the shadowy form, the human double, and the physical body. It will be easy to demonstrate that the ideas of both Pythagoras and Plato are identical with ours. Even the Egyptians held to the Septenary, that means 7, division. In its exit, they taught that the soul, the ego, had to pass through 7 chambers, or principles, those it left behind and those it took along with itself. The only difference is that ever bearing in mind the penalty of revealing mystery doctrines, which was death. They gave out the teaching in a broad outline, while we elaborate it and explain it in its details. But though we do give out to the world as much as is lawful, even in our doctrine, more than one important detail is withheld, which those who study the esoteric philosophy and are pledged to silence are alone entitled to know. Whew, that's a big one. Lots of Greek in there, lots of ways to interpret that. It depends on where you are on the path. We are all on the path together. We are all on the path together, all at different levels of evolution. So I hope that my reading can help you navigate. I hope that this may spark a fire in you to investigate these teachings more. If you are here, I am so grateful for you. I try to answer each and every comment and question to the best of my ability. Remember, I'm a companion. I'm a worker bee to share the message of Theosophy with as many people as possible. I want to become them in my life. And that does not mean that life is perfect by any means. Life will still throw you curveballs, and there'll be challenges and really big, sad things and difficult things and tragedies and triumphs. And we can use these teachings, these ancient teachings, as tools to function in life. This is a textbook for humanity, and it is not exclusive to any particular religion or organization or society. They are available to all. And hopefully, they touch you as they have touched me. For it is my goal to be of service to humanity in any way that I can to share these teachings. If you find that these are valuable for you, please click the subscribe button. Please click the notification button. And if you can, anything that you can share to help carry this message forth is appreciated. Thank you for bearing with me with the teleprompter and the editing dramas. Hopefully we got smooth sailing at the end of post-production. I love you very, very much, and I appreciate you. I'll see you soon.